down? Is that
Not
you,
no,
you want to
not
redo it?
completely. I'm gonna remodel. I'm gonna tear maybe two of the walls down where I got to extend it out, and then I'm gonna gut everything out of the inside and change it around, and pretty much just keep the floor and like two and a half of the walls out. So it's pretty much gonna be torn down about halfway, maybe.
I got you. Any question from council or? But your basic plan is to at some point tear it down and, I mean, not tear it down, but to redo it inside and try to bring it back if
Completely
you can.
redo it. I have some sketches that I did for that house. If you guys want to look at that of what I plan on doing with it. But besides that, I don't have no blueprints or anything. Just
Okay.
something I sketched out when I first got it, and pretty much all the houses that I got them sketched out to what I want to do with it. And if it wasn't for a problem I had with my taxes and a bunch of other stuff and bad luck, like I said, and cars breaking down, and I can go on with the list forever.
I got
The things that happened that kind of stopped me from doing what I wanted to do. It's not that I don't want to fix them. It's just that the
Right.
money just not there right now. So that's why I'm asking if there's something that I could do, the minimum that I could do to them so that it wouldn't be considered dilapidated, like the roof and the windows.
Right.
And
Well, like I say, I think, later in the meeting, what we've got to do is kind of look at it and decide, there's a condemnation process, and Lauren, it takes a couple of months at least, right? To,
Yes. My phone is dead. Technology does not like me tonight. So we've lost money. At the very bare minimum, to make on all structures being spoken to tonight, they have to be boarded to people and animals. They need to have any sort of safety issues that where the porch is falling down that needs to be removed, things like that. The biggest issue we have with dilapidated structures is the fact that they harbor rodents, skunks, raccoons, cats, not just mice. So at the very, very minimum, and actually the Hendersons have been great. We've contacted them and they've made sure that their doors and windows aren't open. That's the number one thing, is that people and animals can't enter the property. And then that at least boards it up to make the structure inaccessible. However, if the city decides to go through the condemnation process, then that says that building is not rehabable and it needs to be removed.
the one option, and we've discussed, is if the title is clear, the city would consider you deeding the property to us if you got to a point where, I can't do anything with this, and having it removed is more than it's worth, so to speak. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. But that's the 3 minutes is up. Thank you for coming down and talking to us about it. And we'll, like I say, we'll go into it again here in a minute later on. Thank you. Number 7, concerning dilapidated structure at 401 East Ryman. I believe that's the duplex. Isn't that the duplex by the go-kart track?
Yes. Mr. Hopkins' property. We did not have any contact from him concerning that property. That property has, if you'll note in your information, I included how long all of these properties had been without utilities, so that you could see that they had not been used as a structure, as a residence. So for the 401 East Ryman, the utilities had been turned off in 2008. So it has not been lived in since
16
then.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is quite a large structure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Anybody would like to speak on that? If not, We'll go to number 8 concerning dilapidated structure at 205 West McLean. And that house it's across the street from Slagle, Lita, and her husband.
This gentleman lives in, I believe it's in Bowie. He lives out of town. We did not have any contact with him. The utilities have not been on at this structure since 2005.
Almost 20 years.
Mhm.
Okay. I went by and looked at that myself, and it's just not something you want to have in your neighborhood, from what I could see. But what's that? Yeah, the roof is there's a tree. Well, anyway.
All of these structures qualified to be condemnable.
Yeah.
But the process is to speak with the property owners before we start that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
most of these or all of these that we're looking at are not in that great a shape.
Gotcha. Okay. If no comment on that, let's go to number 9 concerning dilapidated structure at 602 South Washington. And I think we've had a development on that.
Yes, the property owner has signed their intent to convey to the city.
Okay. That's kind of that option I was talking to this gentleman about a little bit, and subject to, us getting good title on it. I think that's the next step. Number 10, concerning dilapidated structure at 811 Northeast. That's it's really bad, or just my opinion, but anybody like to speak on it? It's kind of I would say a block east of the Allsup's North parking lot.
Yes, it's on the corner of Custer and Northeast Street.
Yes.
The utilities have been turned off since 1994. So it hasn't been lived in 30
Okay.
years.
If nobody would like to comment on that, number 11 concerning dilapidated structure at 515 East McLean Street. Anybody like to speak on that one? It's been vacant as long as I can remember.
We have not had utilities on at this location since 1991. It is a wooden structure. There is no really only left is the bones of this home.
Okay. I noticed the door today it's open. Front door's open. Wait. Yeah, that's East McLean, right? Okay. Number 12, if there's nobody wants to speak on that or would like to. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. If you'll tell us who you are and then go right ahead.
Okay. My name is Patricia King, and I have lived in Seymour since I was like 13, 14 years old. I live at 206 North Tackett, and currently I live in a mobile home that's approximately 30 years old. It was new when we bought it, but since
Let me interrupt you just for 1 second. Can I? We're just getting to that one, correct? Lauren, 206. I think it's 307 on this.
yeah,
206.
We're at number 12 in the public hearing.
Yes.
So she's talking about her specific use
Yes.
permit.
Let me read this and then you go ahead. Okay. Number 12, concerning a specific use permit for a manufactured home and a variance for multiple structures on a lot located at 206 North Tackett.
yes.
Go right ahead.
I put that home there in 2000. We bought it about 3 or 4 years before that. My husband passed away in 2000, and I put the home on the lot that we had. We just put it down the driveway. Over time, because the house that was there burnt and was gutted, was unlivable, it kind of really went into need of repair or to be torn down. So last year we tore it down. The mobile home that I live in, half the plugins don't work. It's an all electric home. Half the plugins don't work. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I've had to replace all of the plumbing due to extreme cold and freezes. It is not well insulated under there. And it needs a lot of work and repair that I really can't afford to do. Now, having said that, I had been thinking about replacing it with a newer model. I found a newer model. It's a nice little house. It's got 2 bedrooms. It's got a front porch. It's a very, it looks nice. I've got a picture of it if you want to see it. And I plan on taking that and putting it where we tore the old house down. Now, understand that y'all don't really want me to have 2 mobile homes on the same lot. The problem is it took me about 30 years to get stuff in the house that I've got in there, and it's just me. I'm asking for a variance of about 5 years to get the house cleaned out and either torn down or moved. So yes, the plan is to get rid of that house, but give me some time to get my stuff out of it, please. And that's what I'm asking for is let me put the new home on it. And this is an outline.
Yes, I think I've seen that. Yes. I think we've got one in the packet. Yeah. I think y'all saw that in the packet. I think that's kind of an outline of the mobile home.
And also, once I put this new home in there, I don't plan on moving it. I've been there for a long. We bought that place in 1977, I believe, and I've been there for that long. That's home. I don't plan on moving. I just want something decent to live in.
I got you.
So
All right, Ms. King, thank you. We'll get to this again. Do you want this back?
sure.
There you go. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, number 13. Would anybody else want to speak on that? If not, number 13, concerning a specific use permit request for a recreational vehicle to be used as a residence and a request for a manufactured housing allowance and use of the hookup as a commercial hookup at the most northern end of Donald Street.
Yeah, we really tried to make this one permit to cover all the requests of the owner. This is the pasture area next to the old cafe area, kind of back behind the housing authority in between Donald and Foley. Do you know what I'm kind of talking about? They have bought the pasture land. They are living currently in a RV park in Seymour, and they would like to move their RV out there and live. And then their plan is to buy a manufactured house, but they did want to be able to use that RV hookup after they put their manufactured house down
To rent, is that
to
right?
rent out as another form of income. So I will say that the specific use permit did ask for 1 hookup and 1 manufactured house. So if you allowed for that, it would not allow for 10 hookups. You know what I'm saying? It would be very specific as to what is being allowed at that location.
Okay, is anybody here that would like to speak on that? And that's, come right on down, introduce yourself and go right ahead.
Rebecca Golding. I don't have any interest in property. Can you tell us how big the lot is? You said it's a pasture. How big the house lot's going to be?
So they did not have an example of the manufactured home that they wanted to bring in yet. The entire acreage is 1.6 acres. Yep. It's 1.6 acres is what they have on their application.
And this pasture land is in the city limits,
Yes.
and it's not connected with those other properties down there. I mean, it's across the fence.
No, and in your packet, You should have a picture of where they wanted to place the camper and where they wanted to put the manufactured home. That camper is more or less going to be abutted to North Donald Street. So it really won't be placed. I mean, it's in the acreage because that's how the lot's done, but they're wanting to put it a lot closer to the road. I don't know if y'all's digital versions show that very well, but can you see where they've handwritten their trailer and camper? Okay, you do.
Thank you. I was having trouble. Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah. Well, Billy helped me out here, and I'm oriented now.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Anyone else like to speak? Thank you. That's a good question. Okay. I guess that's the public hearings part of things. We're to the consent agenda. Anybody have any questions on that, or accept a motion to accept it, or we can discuss?
I make a motion to accept the council meeting minutes for September of 26.
Can we?
Consent agenda, I'm sorry. Consent agenda.
Consent agenda. Okay.
Sorry.
We have a motion to accept the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second for Councilman Nguyen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Passes 3-0. Action items. Number 18. Discuss, consider, and take action concerning the electric department's Unit 70 bucket truck. There's some issues with that.
Well,
Go ahead,
I'll start.
Dr. Frazier.
I asked John Joyce also to come in because he could probably answer more specific questions.
Okay.
I think I've given y'all a lot of information in your packets and in your weekly notes.
Yes.
But Mr. Joyce, if you come in there and just kind of explain to him what you discovered on the issues with that truck. And I think our question is, do y'all
Okay.
want us to fix it, or do you want us to trade it
Okay.
in or smash it or whatever? So
Let me back up 1 minute. I didn't give anybody a chance to speak on the consent agenda. If they want to, they can. I didn't mean to go past you like that. If not, John, go ahead. Tell us what's going on there.
Yeah. Name's John Joyce, supervisor for the electric department. And one of our trucks, our bucket trucks, has gone down recently. We have, with the advice of local mechanics, our city mechanic, just the model truck, it's not very wise to dump money into constantly trying to fix it. We've had it in the shop before, and the problems just seem to be getting worse. In fact, the local mechanic advised me that he won't work on it anymore, So if we're going to put money into trying to fix it, we're going to have to find somebody out of Seymour that would. And it just feels like we'd be spinning our wheels if we put those kind of efforts in. So
and just to add to that, not to interrupt, but David, who's worked for Tri-County for years, and they said they had first of all, he said that's very common for this type of model. They had a truck just like this when he worked for Tri-County, and they got rid of it because of these same issues. So I found it interesting that he said typically when you have this vehicle model with this motor in it, that they never kept it completely full of oil. They always kept it low because
it was
fuel would
common for the fuel to bypass, get into the oil.
to get into the oil, so that
Yeah,
way it wouldn't
that's-
overfill.
Yeah.
And and so now it's not firing on 3 cylinders.
Well, they got two of the cylinders to temporary work. But they're going to go right back down. I mean, we do our best to maintain these things. I mean, every week I got reports saying that we do the oil changes when needed. And every week we go through and check the oil and, not just that, but everything, hydraulic oils, grease them if they needed anything. And unfortunately, this one here is just it's a lemon. I don't know a better way to put it. So
It's a 2008 model. Do I have that right?
08 6.4 Power Stroke. So I think
And
for anybody that's
86,000
got an
miles.
idea that's, who might be listening or in on this, they'll probably agree real quick.
Yeah.
So
Is it usable right as I speak at
No,
all in any
no,
way?
it's
You
not.
can't use it.
We, I cleaned it up because I was trying to. We have somebody come in and take pictures, just for us to look at it, and I wanted to make it presentable. And when I turned it on, it wasn't sounding very well. So
I wonder, any idea, could we get anything for it? Or, I mean,
what I'm trying to see, I'm in the process of finding out the numbers aren't as much as you'd like for a trade-in or something, but
He actually had said that this one, I think he said several companies kind of look into it, and they estimate between $8,000 and $10,000 for a trade-in, for
how much?
$8,000 to $10,000.
yeah, potentially.
I don't guess that bucket, you can't take the bucket off and sell it. I mean, I don't know how that works. It seemed like that
It's an older model. In
Okay.
fact, that model there, it's just, it's just
Yeah.
not.
it's you get into a whole different.
Well, we tried using it just to, keep it operational because, things need to be worked, otherwise you don't use it, it kind of dies out. And it was definitely, we had very limited access to places we could go, jobs we could do with that particular truck. So,
Well, a lot of what you do require, because of manpower,
yeah.
things that you've got to have to. I mean, you just got to have two buckets.
But yes,
The other one's working okay at this point, I guess, or
so far,
knock on wood.
Exactly.
Knock on wood. I shouldn't have brought that up. It's been fine.
Might be cussing you before the week's up.
Yes, exactly. I shouldn't have said that.
Just kidding.
Does any council have any questions? Or, I mean, it seems like we're having, all our vehicles are pretty old, and I'm thinking about the other departments. We've replaced a couple of vehicles, and the safety is my kind of, I mean, that's where I don't want to skimp, but I know they're expensive. Are
Yeah,
you
they are not cheap machines.
gonna
Yeah.
you're attempting to get some prices and some.
I have
Well,
Okay,
actually,
so-
filed-
just I don't mean to interrupt. That's the next agenda item, and all that information is in front of
Okay.
you. And so once y'all kind of decide, what y'all want us to do, if you want us to fix it, then we're just going to fix it.
Right.
If you want us to be able to trade that in, then y'all will be looking at the next agenda item and then
Okay.
determining what direction that we go there.
Okay. Sounds good. Any questions from anybody up here or out there as far as that's concerned? Okay, can John sit down? Or do we need
Just for a
to?
moment until we get to the next agenda item. So
Let's hang on just a minute.
you go ahead and sit down, and then when he gets to the
Okay.
next item.
All right, let's go to 19. Discuss, consider, and take action to purchase a new or used,
You need
I'm
to take
sorry.
action on 18 first.
which one? 18. Okay. Discuss, consider, and take action concerning the electric. All right. Do we have any action to take here? Or discussion? Further discussion?
Well, I think what we're proposing is that we trade the vehicle off. So
Is that we
Mayor, I
what?
make a motion that we look in buying a new truck.
Okay,
I second it.
thank you. Okay. We've got a motion and a second
what was the
to,
motion again?
You gotta make a
To
motion
buy a
to-
new truck and maybe trade this one in.
Well, to
That's
trade,
the
trade
next
it in,
agenda.
and
Trade
then,
it in,
and then
and-
in the next agenda, y'all tell us which truck y'all want us to buy,
Okay.
or you want us to look further.
Mayor, let me redo my motion then. Mayor, make a motion that we trade in the Unit 70 bucket truck.
I second it.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 in favor, none opposed. Number 19, discuss and consider and take action to purchase a new or used bucket truck for the electric department to replace Unit 70.
So in front of you, and also I emailed it to the council and the mayor, and so John has worked really hard on trying to get responses from various dealers, because one thing y'all had asked for previously was kind of options. So that's what we tried to do. I don't recall seeing any used ones in there. I think the ones that y'all are being presented with are all new. Also, there's kind of a summary sheet, and it was the very front of it, but it says a bucket truck for electric department. And so John did a good job of writing kind of a synopsis of what this information provided. And so if you'll look down there, you'll see the like a T-Rex TL48, $260,000. You know, that was his top priority list. If y'all chose to go that way, we could get it in February 2025. And then you have this LTM40, which if y'all went that direction, we don't even have a price on this. That would make sense, but we would get that for 3 years. And then you have the Alltech AT41, and that 41 stands for the reach of those buckets. And so Mr. Joyce feels that he wants one that will reach further. He feels that they've had a lot of jobs in town and they are just maxed out, and they're having to reach, you know, in order to fix or assemble, you know, wires and various things. So that's another reason why he wanted the TL48 T-Rex. And also he chose that one, if you'll read his summary there, that it had probably the best reviews from linemen and people who work within the industry, as well as others. So that's kind of way that's brought down. Now I know you're looking at that price, but if you look, for example, if that Alltech T41 at 200,000, you know, you might save money. But then, you know, there's other variables that come along with that, maybe, you know, more maintenance or, you know, other issues. So I think what I gathered from reading this is you kind of get what you pay for. And so you may pay less, but you're going to pay them more later on because of some of the feedback that you've gotten. That may be why it's priced a little bit differently. But I do want y'all to know that I've talked to Don Jennings, our financial consultant, and he's told me that in that utility fund, y'all have 3.1 million. And he said, you take away $1 million just to cover your liabilities. And so he feels that y'all have plenty of money to make that purchase if that's what y'all used to do. He would recommend that we don't do that every week, but he feels in this situation, considering the fact that it's imperative for John and his department to do their job. John has expressed to me that they're kind of on borrowed time right now because they have a major issue. It really would create some complications in their ability to restore power in certain situations as well. So they really have to have the 2 trucks. Not trying to push y'all too quickly. We want y'all to make the best decision for our community and for the city. But those are variables that y'all can consider as you make your decision. And so John is here. You want to ask any questions specifically about any of those trucks as y'all, what direction to go? And I apologize for this being so late, but I mean, we've been talking about this and pushing ever since it's happened. So
Yeah,
it's just now
well,
able to get the information.
It's something I think needs to be addressed. I mean, how are you going to do your job?
Yeah,
know.
I feel like I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. Been trying to get the information for some reason. You know, I get it. Like people other places, they're real busy too, like the sales people. But I was kind of having to constantly press them just to get this information to y'all. So I mean, I'm sure there may be more information I could potentially acquire, but I think that's kind of the gist of what we're looking at somewhere.
What brand of apparatus do we have now on the truck, the newer truck we have?
The newer truck, we got the Versalift.
Is it a Versalift?
It is a
Is that what we already have right now?
That is what we have. That's the
Okay.
one that is our newer of the 3. Or of the 2 trucks we have, but you know, the 3 brands that you see up there, that's the one we have. And in the report, I kind of put it's not a bad truck either. You know, I don't want to say anything bad on it, but you know, as you can see, the Terex, the one that's on the top, I've got a lot of great reviews on it. Great reviews.
do we need to put an amount down? I mean,
Well, it's really what y'all want. I mean, I think, I don't know how comfortable John, feels about these prices. If he thinks he can find a similar truck from a different dealer that might, save us some money, or, if this is kind of what the market value is, and that's the best that we'll be able to do, give or take $4,000 or $5,000. But John, any response to that? I mean,
I can always attempt to look, like I said, I have been trying to get this information that I've got. It's been, tougher than I would have thought. But anyways, it doesn't hurt. We're in the market for equipment that's of such high price. I can always look around, ask, see what else I can find.
so we would be approving the purchase of it subject to him John bringing us a final deal.
well, if y'all approve it, that is the final deal, and then we'll start the paperwork and we'll start the transaction.
Okay. Well, I think we need a truck.
Sorry.
Yesterday.
Now, and I did talk to the People's Bank, and if y'all didn't want to spend all that money out of the utility fund, which if you have the money, I said you do, but you still can borrow that money from People's Bank against, y'all have 2 TDs with over $1 million in it, and I think I gave that information to y'all before. I think interest rate was like 5.8 or something like that, so which was a pretty good rate. You get a better rate when it's covered by the CD. So I could go that route too.
Once we get to December or January, and we've got our audits complete, we'll know exactly what's there, I would assume.
Correct. Yeah.
$3 million or $1 million or
Right. And then we can make that final decision. We actually
pay it. If we borrowed it, we could step up and pay it off.
Right. And we wouldn't pay until we actually received it, which then would be in February of 2025 if you went with that first choice.
So do we have any reserves that we put back for a new truck? Have we been putting anything back?
In the electric department, we did start saving money about a couple of years ago, maybe 3. I think when Mr. Argus was there, and but not a lot. I think maybe you can help me about 8,000 a year or something like that. But if I can remember correctly, so I think we have a little bit, but not a whole
Hoping
lot.
to go a little bit longer before.
Yeah, before this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just know back when there are couple previous supervisors ago, he always put like 25 to 30,000 a year. In 5 years, you'd have enough money to buy a new truck. So yeah, Jay did that.
But I believe the last 3 years we've been putting money back in there, so we just had built back up quite a bit. But again, our financial consultant did say that we had 3.1 million in the utility fund, and that he felt very comfortable, again, take $1 million out for liabilities in order to make this purchase.
Okay.
So we had several conversations about it, and he felt
Okay.
seemed very, very confident in that.
I know Dr. Brazier was trying to be very, very sure that we're not going out on a limb on this, and I feel pretty confident about it too.
But I like what you said. We'll know 100% by February, and if money's not there, then we can borrow the money or a portion of the money or whatever we needed to do to make sure that we stayed financially solid.
Gotcha. Okay, I guess we need a decision on what to buy and whether to finance or
Y'all just make a decision what to buy, and then we'll come up with the financing by February.
we have a motion.
Well, I make a motion, we buy the T-Rex TL48.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye. We have 3-0. Okay. Mr. John, thank you. Appreciate
Send
you
me
coming
tomorrow.
up here.
We'll start the process.
Okay, moving right along. Let's see here. Okay, that's unit 70, number 20. Discuss, consider, and take action concerning ordinance 2024-15 concerning the water rates, increasing the base rate by $7 for both residential and commercial, and increasing the infrastructure rate by $3. Is this just it's an up and down vote here, or are we doing discussion, audience discussion or anything?
Well, the community can, again, speak on that particular specific line item, but
Gotcha.
other than that, this just approved the ordinance.
Gotcha.
As y'all-
We approved it last month, but this is
The
to get it,
rates.
to approve the ordinance.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone who would like to speak, you're welcome to. If not, do I have a motion to do this? Ordinance 2024-15. Water rates.
I make the motion that we, it's the action ordinance 2024-15 concerning the water rates.
Okay, we have a motion to do this. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Okay, number 21, discuss and consider and take action concerning dilapidated structure at 302 North Foley.
In light of that property being in another person's name,
Oh,
or
that's right.
will
Yes.
soon be in another person's
Yes,
name,
we
we
can,
need to notify then that person and go
Okay.
through this process with them. So
Okay.
302, it won't
Okay,
really be
so-
able to have any action on
so
it.
I would assume no action on this. Okay, unless somebody wants to take some action. Okay, number 22, discuss, consider, and take action concerning dilapidated structure at 306 North Foley. Mr. Henderson spoke earlier about, I think 6 months was his kind of general idea on doing something with this. Do we want to consider doing that? Do we want to proceed sooner than that?
I think we come back and revisit in 6 months and
Okay.
then give them the option, you
Okay.
know. we
I
can
think
take
that,
further
I kind
action
of like
if
that
not.
idea. When somebody, I appreciate you showing up, number one, both of you. And number two, Dr. Brazier and I and Lauren, and we're making a real effort to make things better, you know, and y'all do business here and y'all make things better down there on the corner. And here's where we get hurt sometimes is we've given time and I'm for doing it, but then in 6 months, nothing's happened. So if you could help us on that end, I would really appreciate it. And we're going to try to figure something out where we can give some kind of help, you know, and it's very limited, but whatever we could do would be helpful. And so would you like to make that in a motion, Councilman Wynn?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we give Mr. Henderson 6 months and then we'll come back and revisit it at that time.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There is none. Number 23, discuss and consider and take action concerning dilapidated structure at 409 North Tackett. This gentleman out here was here and spoke about that today. And
At the very least, your ordinances require for the structure to be secured.
to be what?
Secured.
Secured.
So
Gotcha.
all windows, doors, any large openings, like the back of that building has a very large opening in it. All of those need to be boarded up with the proper material. I can provide Mr. Dario with that information of what that looks like in your ordinance. That is the most baseline
Yeah.
requirement.
I mean, is the property right now, does it meet them specs or not? No?
There's windows, there's a very large opening in the back wall. Yeah, so it is open to people and animals.
Can you board all that up and tidy that up for us?
I already have some doors that I've bought, and I've been buying supplies for the house and a couple of the other ones, little by little, just because the budget, like I said, money hasn't been there, but anytime I do get extra money, I just buy a little bit of supplies, a little bit of supplies. But I don't have the supplies to fix the whole house, but I do have enough to board it up and put a door in the back.
So if we give you next month, can you have it at least boarded up for us?
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. If we delay on this, I think at the next month's meeting, if there's no boarding up, it's still open or whatever, I think we're going to just move right along because, like I say, I appreciate you coming up and saying what you have said, but we're probably going to move ahead with a condemnation if nothing happens by next month. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, it'll be done.
Okay, and then maybe come back up next month and we'll look at it again.
Okay.
All right? Is there a motion there?
Mayor, make a motion at the structure at 409 North Tackett. We give him 1 month to meet the specs of
Securing the house?
securing the house. And then we'll revisit it next
Okay.
month.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, moving right along. Number 24, discuss, consider, and take action concerning the dilapidated structure at 401 East Ryman. Anyone want to comment on that or speak on it?
On these remaining structures, we have not had any contact with
Right.
the property owner. It's my suggestion that we just send them another letter and say your public hearing was held. It was determined that your property does not meet basic requirements to be within code inside the city limits. You have 30 days. That's a normal thing that we do. You have 30 days to bring it up to code, give us a determination for tear down or begin the conveyance process with the city. And that then next month we can see if we've had any responses from those, 7 people, 6 people, and see if we've made any headway with them.
Can it be less than 30 days? In other words, if you send out a letter next Monday,
Yes,
I'm trying to get it like for the next meeting,
yes, we don't have to give them
Yeah.
30 days to come into compliance. Actually, I think all of our ordinance say you have 10 days before you can be ticketed. I'm just saying 30 days in the sense of next meeting. So just let them know we're going to revisit this, but these are kind of your options based off
Okay?
inactivity.
It's a notice process. And let's
Yes.
say we don't get any reaction or any notice, then
Then
do
you
we
can
have to come
decide.
back here to condemn?
Then you have to decide if you want to go through the condemnation process, which will cost about $600 to $800 per house. And then we would take bids or tear them
Okay.
down ourselves and then put liens on the property. We've done this before.
Okay.
So that would be the.
So do you
next
need a
process.
motion for this?
So
Can we lump sum all 5 of these in one?
I think you could do a motion for item 24 through 28 because it would all be the same, that the property owners just need to be notified that the property needs to be remediated in one way or another or conveyed to the city. And that we will revisit this in November and the condemnation process could start after that.
Okay, so I'll make a motion for items 24 through 28 that we contact the owners of the properties and then we'll talk about it again next month.
Is that a good way to word that, Lauren? Will that work? Does anybody would like to speak on that? You're welcome to do so. We're taking the same action on 24 through 28, if I understand Billy right.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There's none. Number 29, discuss, consider, and take action concerning a specific use permit for a manufactured home and a variance for multiple structures on a lot at 206 North Tackett. And that was Miss King, and she's wanting to get into there's a mobile home on the property presently, and there's been one since 2000.
When did you move that in? 2000? So the variance for the multiple structures, because you have a law that says you can only have one structure per lot. So we're asking for a variance so that she can clean her other trailer house out while she's moving into the new one. And she thinks it'll take her about 5 years to get that completely done and then have that structure removed. And so we're asking for a specific use permit for the new manufactured house, brand new. It's within the 5-year deal. And then the variance to have the additional structure until it can be cleaned out.
Do we send out notices this next month? Is that,
We already sent out, everybody
that's already
has
been
gotten
done.
letters. We did the
Okay.
200-foot. We did not have any negative responses.
okay,
You had, I think there were only 4 people that returned.
I don't remember seeing a negative on there, but
No,
there could have been.
and they were all yeses.
Okay. My only, since it's been there so long, is the 5-year thing. That seems, I could see doing some period of time less than that to give Miss King time to move her things, but 5 years, I think having 2 on that property, that's just my personal thing. If you'd like to speak, come on up, Miss King.
The reason that I'm asking for the 5 years is, number one, I live alone. It's just me. I work full-time. I work 5 to 6 days, 12-hour shifts. And so I'm going to be the one that's cleaning out and figuring out what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to throw away, what I'm going to donate to whatever and things. And you have to rest sometime and things. And that's why, that I'm asking for about 5 years. If I can get it done before then, that's wonderful. I'll do it. But it's just me going to be cleaning this thing out. And I've been in it for about 30 years. So you can't, I don't see myself able to, in the next 6 months, be able to clean it out, just pulling that out of my hat.
I got you. It's just, again, it's just me. The council can weigh in on this if they want to. And I understand what you're saying. You've always worked really hard and
I've always worked.
Yes.
Right now, I work in Knox City, so I drive
Yes.
back and forth. I work 12-hour shifts. I
Mhm.
work nights.
Yeah.
I have about 1 and sometimes 2 days a week off.
Mhm.
And I don't know if y'all have done those 12-hour shifts day in, day out, day in. You wear yourself out.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's pretty much
you,
where
you
I'm
don't
at.
feel like moving anything.
Right.
So
But I understand that I do need to get it cleaned out.
Yeah.
But let me have the 5 years. If I can do it before then,
Yeah.
I'd be glad to do it.
what you're gonna move the old
Yeah.
trailer off?
Well, I'm either going to move it off or have it torn down.
Right.
Depends on what
Right.
it is. Right now, I've got a carport in front of that,
Mhm.
and I'm going to put the new house in the center of the
Mhm.
lot. So
Mhm.
it's going to come down a little bit further than where the trailer is parked right now.
Right.
So let me clean it out and
Mhm.
stuff, because I've got it pretty well junked up. I mean, I'm a pack rat. And,
Right.
And just give me some time to do
Mhm.
that. And if I can do it before 5 years,
Mhm.
I'll do it.
I got you. Like I say, I personally don't have a problem with your neighbors didn't seem to, it's been there a long time is what I'm trying to
It's
say.
been there for
And it
30
was,
years, and for the majority of those 30 years, nobody knew it was there.
it was behind the house there. I remember the house and it burned and
It burned, and
Yes.
we just parked the trailer right down the
yes,
driveway.
yes.
And for a long
Like you say, nobody knew it was there. Yeah, it's just, I drove by it and I'm kind of looking, it's like, yeah, it's back there on kind of on the back,
It's kind of on the back,
Mhm.
and I've got that big monstrosity next door
Mhm.
to me